Chris Gaither is an 11-year-old in Talladega, Alabama. And recently, he was confronted by a home intruder who was carrying a weapon. Now, the 11-year-old has been trained in firearms, and he took matters into his own hands in what some believe is a questionable way. But if you watch the video, you kind of get a sense of the type of culture that this kid grew up in and the way he thinks of people who invade his own home. Take a quick look at this local news report.
I told him I was going to kill him all that with a gun if he didn't get out of my house.
11-year-old Chris Gaither was home alone Wednesday morning when he heard a noise. Someone had broken into his house. Scared, Chris grabbed a 9mm handgun.
When he was coming downstairs and told me he was going to kill me and F you, all that.
The intruder made it out the front door with a hamper in hand. That's when Chris started firing off bullets. As the intruder was to jump this fence, Chris's 12th and final shot hit the bad guy in the leg.
I shot through a hamper that he was carrying, and it was a full metal jacket bullet. I went straight to the bag and hit him in his leg. And he started crying like a little baby.
Was that Donald Trump there?
Look, okay, we're going to get to the substance in a second. First of all, I have to make some comments about the local news reporter. Why does he have to talk like this?
Bullets.
And then the bullets. Like, just relax, dude. We get it.
How many bullets? 1, 2, 3.
12 bullets.
He was very enthused about the story, very animated. And I also love, like, when they do the stand-ups and the camera starts at, like, a random angle and then just goes whoosh, right onto the reporter. Anyway, so that's my nonsense comment about that video.
Watching the video actually makes me much more sympathetic towards the kid.
Of course, yeah.
I mean, there's some problems there, but look, I often say it's most people who are so pro-gun and pro-protect their house are living in a fantasy world because these sorts of home invasions are 1,000 times more rare than they think they are. And they think, well, if I don't have 30 guns, my family is going to be murdered and chopped up in little bits. That doesn't mean that it never happens.
Yeah.
If it's happening, and you're an 11-year-old kid, and theoretically if the guy is saying, I'm going to kill you, who knows, we haven't heard his side yet, the kid did the right thing to run him off, all that.
I think there are a number of things that went right in this story, so let me just note those before I criticize the one thing that I didn't agree with. Okay, so he's an 11-year-old. I feel really uncomfortable with 11-year-olds having access to guns, period. But I do appreciate the fact that his stepfather trained him on how to use the gun. Hopefully there was proper gun safety. This story could have gone wrong in so many different ways. I mean, if that intruder could have somehow accessed that gun and shot the kid. You know, the kid might have missed and accidentally shot himself. I mean, there's obviously a lot of different things that could have gone wrong. I'm glad it worked out the way it did. This is a perfect case where using a gun to protect yourself makes sense. Here's an intruder. He has a weapon, okay? He poses an imminent threat. And so if you need to defend yourself, I totally understand the need to do that. With that said, the guy was running away and then he shot him 12 times and eventually got his leg, which was not a lethal shot, thankfully. So now the law will deal with him, and that's how I want it all to work out. But with that said, this is one of the rare instances where I have to agree with gun advocates, where a gun did help this kid.
Well, yeah, having some sort of self-defense thing certainly helped. Although, so you provided sources on this, and one of the sources had information about the stand your ground law in that state. And it lists all of the instances at which you could use lethal force. The guy running away with a laundry hamper ain't on that list.
Yeah.
Not in any sense. So if he had killed the guy, stand your ground in this case would not have protected him. It seems like a particularly restrictive form of stand your ground compared to what we're used to. But if a guy's running away, I know in Texas they have the castle doctrine where somebody robbed you. As long as they're still in your territory, you can gun them down like a dog if you want.
Yeah.
But in this case, he could be in some legal trouble. The guy had laundry. He literally had dirty underwear.
When you say, see, here's the beauty, though. If I'm that kid's lawyer, you take a jury trial. There isn't a jury that's going to convict that kid.
I agree, definitely.
So,
in any state, maybe, let alone in Alabama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that kid's going to get away. And that guy who was a bit of a dick who got shot, right? He was right in the kid's face. He sees the kid. He's going to steal. I don't know. I mean, sure, I think it all ended out okay.
I think it did end up okay. I think this is actually the best case scenario. No one died. There was a little bit of justice. And also,
hopefully they recovered the laundry.
Also, this kid is super entertaining. He released, well, not released, but he made a few more statements about this guy, and he said the following: "I hope you learned your lesson from coming to this house trying to steal stuff." And then he also said, "Be brave. You'll be okay. Trust God."
Be brave. No, the guy already was brave. He broke into a house that was loaded with guns, with full metal jacket bullets.
Yeah, bullets.
He's brave. He needs to be less brave.
Yeah.
Trust in something other than God.
He was crying like a little baby.